Credo Income Plus portfolios are actively managed bond portfolios. We have a 3%, a 5% and a 7% target, and both portfolios are available in either sterling or in dollars. The portfolios are run and managed by our fixed income team, which has been working together very successfully now for over 10 years and collectively has about 80 years experience in the markets. The 3% portfolio is targeted at the lower risk investor, somebody who's more concerned with return of his capital than return on his capital. Most of the bonds are short or medium dated. It's nearly all senior paper, and the names involved are blue chip household names that we all know, such as Tesco, Marks and Spencer's and National Grid. An investor requiring slightly more income would look at the 5% portfolios. Very similarly structured to the 3%, but slightly longer dated paper. Perhaps a little bit more exposure to financial bonds, and that's how we get the 5% return. A more adventurous investor might prefer the Credo 7% portfolios. Here we go a little longer dated and have exposure to perpetual paper. Also exposure to financials, banks and insurers is higher. There will be more volatility with these portfolios, but the longer term investor can expect to be rewarded handsomely. Investing in bank paper can be very lucrative. We feel one area which offers superior risk reward, however, is the insurance sector. Returns are almost as high as the banks, but we don't feel the risks are the same. An example of a bond we own in the medium risk portfolio is the Old Mutual 2021. This has an 8% coupon, has bonds available at par, and gives a new buyer 8% on fixed dated paper. We think that's excellent risk reward. Someone looking for something slightly more exotic would look at the Investec 2022. This can be found in the 7% portfolio. A new buyer here will buy bonds at maybe 96 or 97 pence in the pound, giving a yield to maturity over 10%. Again, we think this is excellent risk reward. At present, the portfolios have no government exposure. Quite simply, we don't feel that the longer term investor is getting compensated. Even if we assumed there was no risk from a government ever defaulting, quite frankly the returns aren't high enough for the risk we're taking. 10-year, 20-year, 30-year bonds out there giving 2 or 3% does not offer value, and in the face of rising interest rates your capital could seriously be at risk for longer dated government bonds. The minimum investment size is £100,000 or $150,000. Quite simply, this is the minimum we feel is needed to give an adequately diversified portfolio. Obviously, the European situation is a concern at the moment. There's uncertainty and there's volatility. With regard to our financial exposure, we don't own any European banks. We do feel there are certain blue chip names which offer good value and we're happy owning. In general, with the banks, we'd rather be exposed to the UK or the US, where we feel a lot more comfortable and still get very attractive returns. The portfolios can be bought as a standalone entity, or of course can be combined with an equity portfolio. It's also possible, should you require, to mix and match certain of the portfolios, for example for multi-currency